Yu-Gi-Oh! Mint.com is now TradingCardMint.com. Please check out their selection of over 20,000 cards with prices cheaper than TCG Player.
Alright, what is up YouTube? MCO40 here. We're finally going to be going over my current Overlord list, since many of you have been constantly requesting this in the comment section. Like Overlord, I'll get to deleters and a few of the other deck lists at a later date, but I wanted to start here because I kind of wanted to start messing around with a couple things here and discuss some of my reasoning for this. So if you guys could do me a slight favor, go check out our friends down below in the description, you know, TradingCardMint.com. Please do go give them a look if you're looking for anything Vanguard related, Yu-Gi-Oh! Honestly, any of the trading card games. So please do check them out. Without them, well, I wouldn't have half of the stuff that's on this channel. So, but there's that. So, Overlord, you're playing a control deck. First off, you need to understand that his effect doesn't target the creature, it targets the circle, so you can blow off your own locked units and create columns. And a lot of the playtesting you're probably going to be watching, I've been functioning on 2 columns most of the time, literally just the Vanguard line and this, so kind of understand what you're getting yourself into. Literally sometimes you're going to have to kind of play around only having 2 columns and just understanding that you can't really afford to throw out a lot of units. So for the Destiny, on place or at the beginning of the right phase, Soul Blast 1, retire a unit on a circle, and then when you stride on top of it, you'll get to kill a unit, and then reveal the top 7 front Overlord, add it to your hand. Insane advantage. That's all I can say about this card. If you don't get to this as your first Vanguard against Chaos Breaker, you will lose. Found that out the hard way. There was one game I played in testing where we didn't get to him, which is really weird. I ended up on VX. So I am playing the 9 build from Japan. I looked at the Legend build. You can play 8, which is fine. Or if you somehow misfire and you want to play the Legion game, you can. Also, if you somehow have 2 copies of these, you can pressure your opponent in the early stages of the game. But my issue is with the Legend, I can't play the triggers I want to play. I'm going to have to play all Flame Dragons, and I'm honestly not about that life right now. You have to understand your column numbers can mean something. Literally, sometimes you'll want 5k triggers to make these 16k columns, but for the most part, you're fine. So I like this a lot more because you want your constant fires off of this, because you need to use everything you get off of this to continuously reload your shots for these, depending on the matchup. But for me as a player, I like this build a lot more, just because of what this gives to me. And we were always playing the shiny versions. I'm not spending $400 to finish this though. Starter is Conroe. Why do we still have this as a starter? Best starter currently available in the game for Kagero. Being able to just kill it off, go get a heal, go get a stride fodder depending on the matchup. It's so stupid for value. Grade 2s. 4 copies of the 10k. Absolutely no reason not to be playing 4 of this. Typically, you need to ensure that you're going to have a powerful line of defense, especially going into certain matchups. And it's been so long since we've had a 10k Vanguard, like, not named Nahalem. 3 copies of this. A lot of builds are playing 4. I understand a lot of builds are playing 4. It's early game disruption. I'm kind of thinking about testing 4, but I'd have to play the 12 grade 2 build, and then I'd probably have to go to the Legend in that case. But for the most part, this is fine. If I cut any other thing, it would probably be this. But he's a superpower column by himself with 2 attacks on a restander. He's 2100. Like, he's value. So you just have to pick where your poison lies. Literally, your avatar or this. But this card is insanely good. This is for the early game, late game. I don't feel bad about throwing these out as a one-liner in the Kagero mirror, just because they get detonated. So putting all 5 triggers on him is pretty good, I heard. So you have options with where you want to go from there, but I'm liking this so far. 4 Stride Fodders, aka the has to be on the field. This card is incredibly terrible against Chaosbreaker, but if you don't play against Chaosbreaker, he's good in every other matchup. Plus, he allows you to return 2 Flame Dragons to draw a card. Absolute insane value. The longer the game goes, as you can continuously reload your shots. And yeah, then 1 copy of Lava Flow. So there are some builds that are playing 3 of this, 2 of this. Some builds that are playing 3 of this, 4 of this. You don't really have the room to navigate. 1 of this is fine, depending on the matchup, because you can go grab it off Conroe to assist you on your first stride. It's not an issue. Just understand your matchup you're playing and kind of go from there, depending on what scenario you need. So Conroe, speaking of, we're playing 4 copies of this Conroe. So if you don't need the Stride Fodder, or you need the Stride Fodder, but you're on the wrong Overlord, you can go grab this off of Little Conroe, set up your column, and you can early aggro this. It doesn't act as a Stride Fodder, but this will typically fix the issues of the hands you're having. So depending on which Overlord you're on, or if you need to set up for something else, you have the fixability in this. Definitely maximizing this. And then 4 copies of Protect Orb. Best perfect shields for this deck, and it's a Flame Dragon, so if you're playing the Legend, you can go grab it. Countercharging is super important. Triggers. We're playing 4 copies of this guy, just for the column clear on your turn. It's 4K. I might swap it out for something else. I'm not really sure yet. And then I get to play the triggers I wanted to play. So, homage to my old Kagero decks, because I miss you guys, and honestly, best started crits, but 7 crits overall for aggro. You might be able to mess around with it. It's up to you. And then 5 draw triggers. Playing 1 of this in case you need to load it into the soul. Same thing with these, but these take a counterblast to load into the soul to kill a grade 0. Typically it's for the starter war, in case you want to have the early game to kill off your opponent, I mean standard Kagero. And then the Seal Dragon into the soul to power up something. And then, of course, 4 heal triggers. Who doesn't love counter-charging or soul charging? So good. Alright. Onwards to the G-Zone. This is your best first stride I've ever seen in my life. So 3 copies of the Purge. A lot of people are leaning towards 2 of this. I understand you can get away with 2, but in your grindier matchups, you are going to need 3 of this. Understand that, and kind of know what you're getting yourself into. The auto damage is the most important. That way, your opponent can't really guard against it, so you can continue on with your degenerate early advantage, is the best way I'm going to put it. 3 copies of Ziegenberg. You'll see in the Kagero mirror when it goes up the control ability that this gives you in the mirror, because you should already have an open field anyway, so restanding to take away more pressure from your opponent is absolutely insane. You kind of mode change off of, this is like your first stride, then you'll mode change into these for more of the control aspect. 2 copies of this. I'm leaning towards wanting to play 3 because you can first stride its effect. Remember, CB4, you can turn it online. You'll be able to restand. Only really important for those aggro situations where you've been aggroed out of your mind, your opponent doesn't have resources, and you can probably steal the game from them. So, something to consider. Drachma, for those of you that don't think you need this card playing Kagero, I will say this about the ZRs. When it comes up, it does what no other card can do. It steals the game for you. And I understand it's an expensive price tag, but for just the free wins it can give you, I understand going into a 7-8 round tournament, you'll want this as a resource for when it does steal the game for you. One copy of Sabreeze, absolutely. I love, cool, my opponent plays down against me, cool, right into Destiny, kill something, start on top of this, kill something, search an Overlord. So much free value. I'm surprised people don't do it. One Root Flare. This isn't even Root Flare. What the fuck's his name? Oh, it's Defeat Flare. Vanguard swings, kill everything in the back row. It's good. 3 copies of Denial Griffin. Probably going to cut this to 2. I like 3. I really do. But my issue with this is I want a second copy of this. And there have been a lot of matchups where I wanted a second copy of this. I remember this is on Vanguard attack, CB1, gains 10,000 for every open rear guard of your opponents. So you can discard a heal trigger for a pseudo perfect guard. Literally, like, your opponent has 3 open, well, congratulations, you got a 45,000 shield for no fucking reason on top of your 11k. So it's insane value for what it is. And there hasn't been a game yet in testing where 3 denials has come up. I'm sure that might change later. But I really want to put some stock in this, because I think 2 of this is a wonderful idea, and it's worth exploring. And the last thing I'm testing is this card. Oh, the OCG keeps playing this. It's just choose Guardian, Soul Blast 1. Choose a place on Guardian. If you do, choose an opponent's grade 1 or less at rest and retire it. I don't see this coming up. This is something else I would cut over the other denial, but I understand that this can put troublesome cards to rest that you normally can't get to. So there is some value in it for the rogue matchups. How much? I don't know. I haven't got to that point yet. I assume that this will be a scenario that I can kind of afford to dedicate the space to over the 3rd denial, but just got to kind of play it safe with where you're going with this. So that's my initial food for thought, guys, on Kagero. I hope that gives you kind of some idea as to where I'm going with this. I've been testing the deck heavily I was testing it on area against a friend of mine for about 2 weeks, and I've had the deck in my hand for about 3 weeks now. So about a good solid 4 to 5 weeks of testing, and I'm not disappointed so far with the results. Just the little things are continuously changing, and I mean, they're literally like the little things like these, but I mean, sometimes these just turn into fodder for this guy. Remember, this does flip, so I mean, you'll kind of start at Sabreeze and kind of work your way back through where you're going. Sometimes I don't feel bad about flipping these. Just depends on if you need them for certain matchups. So, what do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Check out tradingcardmint.com down below as well. And that's all I got, guys. Later.
That's not all, card fighters. Please subscribe for more Cardfight Vanguard content. Please remember to check out imcol40 for Yu-Gi-Oh videos. And please check out imcolgames.com, my store, along with No Limit Gaming and LGTCG.com for all of your guys' trading card game needs as well. Until next time, guys, remember to hit that subscribe button. Later.